Hi, how are
Hello.
you doing today?
Fine. And you?
I'm doing very well. What's your name?
Olivia.
Nice meeting you, Gloria. Where are you located?
I'm in Port Harcourt right now.
Oh, nice. And how old are you?
In my 30s.
Okay. So, what's the questions for today?
Um, on my question, yeah, I'll ask. Is it compulsory, like, for a woman to like contribute to the wedding plans? Let's say, you're in a relationship or you're trying to get married. Is it compulsory for you to like, for the woman to like contribute financially to the wedding plans? That's my question for today.
Definitely, it is required that a woman contribute. You understand?
Mm.
The women are created as a helper, not men created as a helper to help women all the time, although the case is different. When the Bible says, we go to Genesis 2, and the verse 20 talks like about creating man after creating man in the God's image. In the 20 verse, it talks about let's create woman for a helpmate for a man. And the helpmate comes in from the Bible recorded that man was made to sleep. And at the end, if you go through the downward verses after 21, 22, 23, it talks about a man will leave his wife, will leave his father, will leave his mother, and cleave to his wife, and they all become one flesh. So when they become one, when they are planning to become one flesh, what happens? It technically means that they will be doing things together. They have to start planning. And one of the first steps of doing things together is when a woman comes in and contributes towards their union, toward their oneness. And if you check, a better or proper way to look at it is to look at the situations where Rebecca was getting married to Isaac. There are some things that were given to him to take along. I mean, given to her to take along, and but given to the servants, and they also dropped some things as well. You understand? That's where the actual marriage happened. You understand? In marriage, it has to be in both ways. You understand? There must be gifts from the families of the wife, gifts from the families of the husband. But there's subjective aspect to it, which means if a man is getting married to a woman one's families are not too financially okay and he can afford
Yeah.
it, then he can take care of every bill. And vice versa, if a woman is married to a man that's not financially okay, the woman can take care of the bills and take care of every expenses needed to make sure that the weddings hold. The idea of
Mm.
whichever is contributing or one person is contributing has to do with their financial status and their understanding. When
Yeah.
something becomes one, you don't even know who actually get the job done because it becomes we. But when it becomes high,
Yeah.
that means they're not together. You understand? So
Yeah.
in every relationship that will lead to marriage, and it's going to be a blissful one, the woman should contribute. If she doesn't have the finance, she should contribute her time to make sure that things are working as planned to execute the purpose of the wedding. Does that answer the question?
Mm. Yeah. Then another thing I want to ask is like, why do most people feel like women in their 30s are like desperate to get married?
Okay, there are a lot of complications to that question, but I'm going to give you a few responses that helps in that regard. An average age, or the best age a woman should get married is immediately after this secondary school. In a worst scenario, or in a whole case scenario, immediately after university, that's when a woman should get married, which would be the age of 18 to 22. You understand? And max at the age of 25, every woman should get married latest by 25. By the time you turn 26, 27, 28, and you're not married, what usually happens is you have a lot of boyfriend experiences. You have a lot of restaurant visitation experiences. You have a lot of hotel visitations experiences, and even a lot of homes visitations experiences because of the people you date or the number of boyfriends you have between that age. So within 5 years, some people might have dated about 3 to 4, 5, 6, even 10 guys, which means they are very super wise, very smart, and knows a lot of things. So when you are when you're dating somebody who is 30 and you are 33 as a guy, you're dating somebody who is a little bit experienced than you, wiser than you, smarter than you in every area. Because men usually within the age, by the time they are 30, they probably have 2 or 3 major relationships on average. You understand? Because most of the time they are concentrating about their future and probably have one girlfriend from secondary school that they keep for 5 years. That's also could apply to women too. But you know, why women are more likely to get a lot of suitors, admirers, than men? Men only get few of women that might be interested in them or even have opportunity to actually be able to get 1 or 2 that may actually agree to date them. So women are more like very, very exposed and experienced, and that's put them in a very disadvantage if they're marrying somebody that's a little bit older than them. So as a result, they believe, and also lots of factors, you understand, from, like I said, major thing is experience. And when you marry somebody who is very smarter than you or experienced than you, they're likely, not all the time, not to be able to, likely not to be humble. You understand? A little bit arrogant, a little bit wiser. Because when somebody's wiser than you, they sound arrogant, even if they're not arrogant. They sound smarter, even if they're not. And men are a little bit intimidated with that. They say this woman is going to be difficult to control, which necessarily shouldn't be control, but actually they're going to be difficult to give them the respect they deserve. So as a result, they make it's not really very something most men will always want to do. But it's not general case for all. But majority of the time, that's the case. Does that answer your question?
Well, I won't say it actually answered my question, but it kind of, well, you kind of put some kind of light to it. That there are men that don't like to go around with go out with women. They are more smarter than they are. But the thing is, most of them, what I actually want to hear is why they feel like if I am in my 30s, I'm more desperate to marry. So, like most times they feel like we are easy targets. They come to you and say, "Oh, I want to marry you," because they feel like you are desperate to actually want to marry. So now that's the point I'm trying to like get.
Okay.
Why does it feel like once you're in the 30s?
Okay,
you are desperate to marry.
Women have biological
so they come
clock.
To you and marriage, but they run away. That's the point.
Women has biological clock faster than the men, right? Men's at the age of 60 can still have babies, but women usually once they're to 50, the chances are a little bit limited. So at that point in time, when you're 30, you have 20 years to go. And men sees that, this is an opportunity to either take advantage or makes the woman feel that they're a little bit desperate. So they know at that age of 30, you really want to get married. For instance, it's like when you go to the market or you go to the store to buy grocery, there's some fruits. The moment they turn later in the evenings, they put discounted price on them. You understand? It doesn't lose the value of the taste of the fruit, but if you allow the fruit to stay the next day, it might not give you the potential value of that fruit, because at that point in time, it's not going to be as fresh as it was when it was just plug out of the soil or of the trees. The same thing as women, you understand? The Bible have records for that. It's the women's, humans as a general are like flowers, you understand? Sometimes you're here today, sometimes you're not there tomorrow, you understand? And that's why you see when a woman is between the age of 18 and 28, they have a lot of attractions, a lot of attentions, a lot of men want to talk to them, a lot of men want to marry them. And these are the best time for them to get married. But most of them are always say, no, this is not the kind of guy. I want a tall guy, a short guy, a slim guy, a fat guy, this guy. They have a guy that has money, the guy that has this, the guy that has that. So you create criteria at your age. So when you turn 30, that's the time the men now create their own criteria and say, you have to meet these requirements. You have to meet these requirements to be able to get things in place. So men sees women above 30 as desperado. You understand? The same way a young woman at the age of 20, 18, 19 that sees a old man as opportunist, they want to take advantage of her because she's young. So that's why they come in and it has that kind of questions, or they try to appeal to you because at that point in time, they know you have limited options. And because at the age of 25, you should have gotten married. At the age of 30, you should have gotten married. So you're probably not going to get married to your age or your colleagues anymore. You'll be going to get married to somebody who's older than you, because at that age, the man who is 25 has gotten married to a girl who is 22, 23. The man who is 27 has gotten married to a woman who is 25. The man who is 30 has gotten married to a woman who is 28. But that does not necessarily mean in every case. In the Western world, some men get married to women that are older than them. So the ideology is this: men think that at the age of 30, you're more vulnerable. You're going to sound desperate. You're going to more likely to want to get married because you felt that at this point in time, enough of the fun, enough of the party, you want to settle down. So because you're now looking, they come in and try to appeal to you and take advantage of the fact that you have limited options of men that are more interested in you. You understand? Because of the biological clock. But it doesn't mean that it devalues you or makes you not a good woman or actually makes you a desperate woman, because some women that even at the age of 35, they still look very expensive on how to get, depending on the man, depending on individuals. Does that answer the question now?
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions for me today or no?
Today, no.
All right.
Maybe another time.
Thank you very much for coming, Gloria. Hopefully we have you again next time. Take care. Bye.